Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome back. It is Monday, July 6th, 2020. Coming back from a very long 3-day weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself, and especially hopefully wherever you live, you were safe and took care of yourself and your family during this very bizarre and unique time that we're in right now. Coming back, the futures are actually up this morning, which means that we're going to be looking at buying a higher opening, or what the situation is for that higher opening, which, sorry, I got cat hair on me. This a lot of new traders that come into the room, a lot of new traders that come into the boot camp, they have probably the same question, whether or not they've been trading for a while and struggling, or brand new and coming into the market. The same question keeps popping up over and over again, which is, when does this finally start to get easy? when do I finally start to understand what I'm doing? And not even a question, within that 30-day window of traders that are in the boot camp, as I promise all the time, and I promise you too, within 30 days, if you're diligent and you're a hard worker, within 30 days, your biggest problem will end up being holding good trades longer. That I promise you, if you follow the plan. But then after that, everybody gets to the point like, well, when am I going to start getting paid? When is trading going to start to be fun? Well, I can tell you that trading is absolutely always challenging, which is why we took it on in the first place, right? We kind of have this connection where trading is something we're doing because if we didn't do something that was challenging, we'd probably be bored out of our skull if we had had to sit inside of a cubicle all day. But that's why we're doing it, right? However, even if you're trading part-time, even if you have another full-time job, trading can still be a really good extra income for yourself, which, by the way, I haven't really discussed that too much. If you're a regular viewer of the channel and a subscriber, by the way, please click down to subscribe if you find these videos helpful. My background is day trading. I've been day trading since 2000. I day trade a lot less than I used to. Here's the point that I want to make. Trading can absolutely get to the point where it's exciting for you, where you feel like you're in control, where you expect to make money. And that's an exciting place to be. Sorry. But if you are new, if you have very little experience, if you haven't proven to yourself that you could make money over 3 months, 6 months, a year, I strongly recommend that you maintain your other job while you're learning that. If you've already taken the leap into becoming a full-time trader, that doesn't mean go find a job. It does mean that you're going to be super disciplined to stick to the rules. And here's why. Every one of us, when we first start out trading, we have this certain dollar amount in our head that we say, okay, I'm going to put this much money aside to be a trader, and this many months aside to learn how to be a trader so I can start paying my bills. And all of us in our mind, we say to ourselves, okay, my bills are $5,000 a month. If within 3 to 4 months I can start making $7,500 per month, whatever, I'm just throwing numbers out there, then I know I could be a full-time trader, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to trade 2 hours a day, and I'll have mojitos on the beach the rest of the day, and that's what it's going to be like. I can tell you from 20 years of experience, I can tell you from teaching and managing. If you don't know, I had a trading office, I had two trading firms in New York City, managed well over 300 trades at just my last firm, probably thousands and thousands over the last 20 years. It's going to take longer than you think it will to become a full-time trader. It's going to take longer than you think it will to sustain your life 100% from the market. Does that mean it can't be done? Absolutely not. 100% can be done. What I'm telling you is, the more crunch that time frame is for you to need to pay your bills from trading, the more you need to invest in yourself, both technically from what am I supposed to look at, and mentally from how do I handle the ups, the downs, and all that kind of stuff, which is obviously why one of the first things I recommend to everybody is to read Think and Grow Rich, because it teaches you to deal with adversity. It teaches you to have persistence. It teaches you to have what he calls a definiteness of purpose. But we're going to go through a little bit of a slide presentation here of some of the things that have to happen. And if your dream is to be somebody who is just taking money out of the market on a regular basis to to live that way, or if it's you have another full-time job and you want this to be a nice side job that you run in your spare time, which 100% can be done. We're going to review some of the things that require, and the common question I get is, when does trading start to click? When did it start to click for you? When did it become easier for you? Well, trading can become what elite levels of trading is becomes a lot simpler because you're focusing on just what you're looking for. One of the biggest problems absolutely for most traders is they're looking at too much, they're trying to trade too much, they're trying to trade every strategy, they're trying to trade stocks, options, futures, forex, bullish, bearish, sell options, buy options, everything. Focus on one thing. I focus on order flow. That's it. I focus on order flow, and then I learned how to read the tape within the order flow. Order flow is probably the number one thing. Number one thing is, are we definitely watching smart money do something, and how do we hop on that back, which is the second part of it. Tape reading is the price action within the longer term order flow. So once you understand order flow, and then once you understand tape reading, everything comes together, because now you have a picture perfect roadmap of the market. Things start to click when you start to understand what you're looking at. The key to trading, though, when you become a trader, is when you really focus on what happens between entry and exit. And we're going to find out in a second here. I'm going to show you that entries is not the most important thing. It's important, but it's not the most important thing. And if you doubt that, think about how many trades that you made where you had the absolute perfect entry and you messed it up. So entry is not the most important thing. It's what happens after that, and the resources that you're bringing, your skills, your experience, all of that stuff to the market that ultimately leads to those good entries becoming profitable trades. So we're going to get into it. We have 3 slides, but they're pretty important here. This is a little tiny section of stuff that I teach in the boot camp. By the way, we have a lot of people interested in the boot camp. We've just recently opened up the trading floor. The trading floor gets you the same thing where you're in the floor with me every day. You see my trades every day. It just doesn't include the education or the coaching. So I'll post the link below here, and you can take a look and see which one is for you. Getting involved in what we call the tape reading room is exciting, and definitely the way to start. You can decide if you want to take the education and be involved in the coaching as well, but we'll leave a link below that. So we're going to head over to the slide here, and we're going to discuss exactly what we just said. When does trading actually start to click? So when it starts to click is when you finally learn that trade management is more important than trade entries. And the important part here, which I have can work entries in a good idea. A big part of this as well is you could work exits, meaning losing trades, the same way you could work entries into a good idea. So in other words, we have this saying inside the room that you don't necessarily need to get out of a bad idea. You can scale out of a bad idea, keep some of those shares on, immediately set an alert where you'd like to get back into the trade. So you're lowering your risk, you're lowering your leverage, but you're maintaining a good idea. So again, trade management, the way that I word this is, and it's very important, is that trading, especially day trading, especially swing trading, I almost used the word I'm going to give away, it's an active endeavor. It's not set it and forget it. Anybody who tells you that trading is set it and forget it has never traded before. All right, next. You finally learn that trading is not about being right on a trade by trade basis, but over many good ideas and not putting too much emphasis on individual trade results. So essentially what this means, if you've watched the video 10 Perfect Trades, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, which you could find on the website. You go to start here and you'll see it down there. This essentially means that all of the emotional baggage that comes with a losing trade is completely eliminated when you understand that over 10 trades, it's your job to do what you're supposed to over 10 trades. Find a perfect trade, find a trade within order flow, find a trade that has a good tape in it, right? Then you just let the edge do the work. And we have no idea over 10 trades if the 1, 3, 5, and 7 are going to be profitable, or 1, 3, 5, and 7 are going to be the losing trades. But over 10 is what we're looking for. So each trade, whether it's a winner or a loser, is nothing more than a sample within that 10. When you finally understand that, exiting every single trade, you put the trade on, you manage it. You put the trade on, you manage it. You put the trade on, you manage it. None of that baggage comes with, oh, it was a loser, it was a winner. It was a loser, it was a winner. Get rid of that. And I'm not saying you have to trade emotionless like Spock. That's the biggest, oh, you want me to be a robot. No, that's what I'm saying. I want you to be a professional. There's a difference between the two. Have you ever been around a professional athlete or an actor? They just have this air about them where There's something about them. That's how you want to act as a trader. All right, finally understanding how to learn from my winners and build trade expectation. Now, learning from your winners, which I said before, is a big thing, because learning from your winners means you finally understand when to hold and when to book profits quicker and build a trade expectation. A trade expectation means before the trade starts, you know exactly what your trade management is going to be. So have you ever held a trade that was profitable and came back to where it was nothing? Or have you ever gotten out of a trade where you got out and then it kept going without you? That's managing trade expectation. Knowing that before the trade is when things start to click. Finally, understand consistency comes from your strategy, not from the market. This I could tell you flat out. It comes from knowing what your edge is, which again, my edge is order flow. This is what we cover in the boot camp. The edge is what pays you, clearly, okay? It's not one clean, beautiful, bullish day in the market, 1 week in the market where anybody can make money. It's where you have an edge, you follow the edge, and that's where consistency comes from. If you want to get paid on a month-in and month-out basis, it requires you having a strategy. It's the only way to be consistent. All right, results come from flawless performance, which is something you can control. Again, we're going back to when does this click. Flawless performance is what you can control. What you can't control or predict is the next move. And this, I say this is powerful because everybody watches television. Everybody now in this age will have probably 50 different links that they go to read the news. I can virtually guarantee you that if you go to 5 different websites, you'll find 5 different explanations or predictions of what they think is going to happen in the market tomorrow. 5 different ones, 100%. I don't have any doubt in my mind about that. You need to predict what's probably going to happen next, but know what you're definitely going to do. And that's where it starts to click. By the way, you should get to the point where you're trusting nobody's judgment except for your own, because those are the ideas that you're going to have the most conviction in. And also it starts to click when you understand when it's profitable that you sit out conditions that don't match your edge. And I talk about this quite a bit. I don't trade options expiration, and I don't trade FOMC afternoons. I don't make money on those days. It's proven over time. I don't feel like there's any edge. I feel like it's a guess. The days after those, absolutely get involved. All right, so self-analysis. How would you rate your market knowledge? So in other words, how well do you understand reading the market, reading the tape, understanding what's going on? How would you rate your trading knowledge? These are not the same thing. And honestly, this is what I talk about often between being a chart reader and being a trader. Chart readers might be able to look at the market. Traders understand how to put that information together and make money. So you have to decide here, where are you in your development as a trader? Are you a chart reader or are you a trader? A trader understands how to put the pieces together. We call that building an argument for a trade. Next, how will you improve both of the above? If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I'm not very big on becoming a better chart reader. I want you to become a better tape reader so that you can understand how to get paid, which is what makes you a trader. So what are your psychological strengths and weaknesses in relation to developing your system? So what's going on here? What are your strengths with market knowledge? Are you really good at reading the news? Are you really good at reading charts? Are you really good at day trading? Are you really good at swing trading? Are you really good at market analysis? What are your weaknesses when it comes to that? What are your strengths when it comes to understanding how to trade? So in other words, if you're going to ask what are my strengths and weaknesses when it comes to being a trader, you have to ask yourself, what are your challenges right now? And then you reverse that so a weakness becomes a strength, or at the very least, you minimize your weakness and you build your strengths. What are your strengths and weaknesses in terms of personal discipline? Do you do your game planning? Did you sit down and actually map out how you plan to make money? Big deal. A lot of people think that discipline only applies to losses. It also applies to which trades you take. Are you in the right positions? Are you okay with sitting in cash? This is a huge part of being in the room with me on a day in and day out basis. I will be the first to tell you right now, put on your overalls because we got some good stuff going on right now and you better make some money. And I also will be the first to tell you, what are you doing? There's absolutely nothing going on. And that really, making more money and avoiding losses, that's a huge part of understanding how to be a trader, right? Do you have emotional or financial issues that may affect your ability to focus or trade effectively or follow your plan? This is a big one that nobody likes to talk about. I think the biggest emotional financial issue is you really, really, really hate your job. and you really, really, really want to be a trader, which puts a lot of pressure on you to be a trader. I've done this for a long, long time. Prove to yourself first that you could be consistent. Only then should you think about bigger goals as trading. If yes, how will you address this situation? Probably this one here also applies to if you're going through personal situations in your life where there's a lot going on. I could just flat out tell you, don't trade when you have personal baggage going on. If you have like really emotional stuff going on in your life, the market will make you pay for it because you'll trade with reckless abandon, and you should be away from your desk. So those are just some of the things that go into what actually gets you to the point where trading starts to click, where it becomes easier. And I just can't stress this enough. A lot of people make the mistake of believing that becoming a better chart reader is what's going to make the money. It's not. You probably already know that. You probably know everything that there is to know about chart reading. But I'm willing to bet that you're probably not making as much, if anything, that you believe you could probably be making, which means there's something deeper, something next that you need to know. So you need to know the difference between chart reading, tape reading, and ultimately understanding how to get paid. And that's what I do. And I'm really good at it. So anyway, if you have any questions about that, absolutely leave a comment below the video. Subscribe to the video. That would mean the world to me if you find these videos helpful. And if you want to learn about trading with me full time, you can get into the room, or you can take the boot camp. I'll leave the link for that down below too, and you can decide which one's best for you. I hope to see you on the other side, and have a great day and a great week.